The views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the network or anyone affiliated. There will be mature and possibly immature content. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. As a matter of fact, I probably wouldn't listen at all. It's very poorly produced. Take me to your leader.
Welcome to the Monster Castle Radio Show. For the extreme paranormal listener. And here is your host, the Wolfman, Mike.
This is for all readers
What's going on, man? Alright, Wolfman is back. The Wolfman is back. Alright, how we doing tonight? Everybody!
Good.
Tonight,
Doing awesome.
Darren, Adam,
Yes.
and we're gonna do some news before we introduce the guest tonight. I think Adam has an article for us. We got our shit together, man. All right. Ha ha ha. We got Yuck Nasty in the chat room already. Woo! I think it's gonna be a fun night, guys.
Oh, yeah.
We gotta have fun. You gotta take my mind off of everything. All right, let's. Oh man, I gotta have a cigarette first. Hang on a second. What the fuck am I supposed to do here?
You're looking for the news sound.
Oh, do we? Oh yeah. And where do I find that?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
You might have to sing it.
Oh. Why can't... Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, I forgot where I put it. All right, here we go. And here's Monster Castle Paranormal News with Adam Shadow.
Professor says that time travel is possible mathematically. A professor at the University of British Columbia has claimed that time travel is mathematically possible, though we're unlikely to take advantage of said possibility in the foreseeable future. According to physics.org, Ben Tippett's mathematical model appears in a study he recently published on the feasibility of time travel. It's all a bit complicated, so I'd encourage you to head over there for a more detailed explanation. But to summarize, According to Einstein's theory of general relativity, Tippett says it's incorrect to think of time as a dimension separate from the other three spatial dimensions. Instead, all four dimensions, or directions, are connected, making up the space-time continuum. When space-time is warped, as with massive objects in space like black holes, the time direction also shows curvature, just like the others. The closer you get to those massive objects, the slower time flows. Using this concept, Tippett created a mathematical model in which a time machine, a kind of bubble, he's dubbed the traversable causal retrograde domain in space-time, or TARDIS. It would travel around a large circular path, occasionally traveling faster than light, bending the time dimension into a circle. This would ultimately allow for time travel backwards. Tippett says that while he's shown time travel to be mathematically possible, we just don't have the materials. Something he and his colleagues call exotic matter to get the job done. They haven't even been discovered yet, apparently.
But they're theoretically there, huh?
They are, yeah.
Huh. Wonder if they'll find them in our lifetime.
Yeah. Either way, I figure if we do travel through time, black holes will be involved. Not just because of John. I assume it's pronounced John Titor, or Titter or something. Titor. What? Anyway, of his old time travel story, but also ideals like this, and the possible existence of something like Kerr black holes. They just seem to be the way to go.
The black holes are?
Yeah, they're called Kerr black holes. Kerr black holes.
Huh. Wow. Well, let's hopefully before we're dead and gone, they'll find that particle. We can go through time. Yeah. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
Did you have to crawl into dark holes to find it?
Yeah. Where's that matter located?
Like it matters.
I'll volunteer myself. I will volunteer myself to do that if need be. If that's all right.
Maybe John Teeter was from the future.
No, Mike, he said black hole, not black hoe.
Hey, wait a minute. We didn't introduce you yet. All right, now we have to introduce him.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess. Here we go. Gordon Rupe, come on out. You are the next. You're not a contestant, but what do you call it?
He's a guest.
Victim? No, I mean, yeah, guest. Yeah.
Next victim of the Monster Castle.
I've been on and survived before. Come on.
That's true.
You're acting like I'm a rookie here.
Yeah, this guy, he's got his own podcast now. He's one of the most renowned, wildest, craziest guests we've ever had. I think he's very entertaining. He's an author of many very interesting books, and he's a historian. And You can pretty
Yes,
much
yeah.
ask him anything you want. So anybody who has any questions, you're going to love it because we got an open line tonight. Totally open.
He has
And
many leather-bound books that smell of mahogany.
so yeah, we're going to have like a roulette sort of topics tonight. And that depends on your calls. And it's a totally open line. So if you want to call in with a question anytime during the show, 775-990-8447. All right, everybody, I'll put that in the chat room.
Hey, Gordon,
I didn't do it. Oh, yeah?
Michael, can I start asking questions?
Yes, sir.
All right. You wrote a book called Wrong Tombstone. And that's
Wrong
the thing I want.
Tombstone. Oh, yeah.
That's what I want to talk about first because I'm fascinated by the Lincoln assassination. Can you tell us a little about the book and what it's about?
The book is, well, first and foremost, it kind of tells what the whole plot was to begin with. Because originally they weren't going to kill Lincoln. That was not the plot. They were going to kidnap him.
Who's they?
Well, there was 7 different conspirators. They were all tried. They were all convicted. They were all killed. And that's, aside from Booth. Booth was the so-called mastermind. But originally the plot was to kidnap him and hold him for ransom in exchange for Confederate prisoners.
Okay.
So they all get together. And they're going down to where the president is supposed to be. Well, the president isn't there. As irony would have it, he's back at the hotel that they just came from.
They left their hotel and he was right there all along?
Yep.
No way.
Yeah. And that's well documented. Which, to me, I just find that funnier than hell. But I'm a very sick individual. But yeah, so, the whole premise is it recounts what their original plans were and what actually happened that night. And then it goes into, did Booth actually live or die?
Well, did they, were they going to kidnap him the night they killed him, or was it a different night?
No, that was weeks ahead, or weeks before, I should say, excuse me. Weeks before.
Why did they change their mind and decide to just assassinate?
For the sheer fact that John Wilkes Booth had no luck when it came to trying to execute his plans. So he's like, he had a screw it moment, kind of like, just out of sheer frustration, just fine, I'm just going to kill him. Fine, and that's how it went down.
Can you talk about the assassination itself and the Ford Theater and how he got in there and what happened in there?
Well, what tickled me the most while writing this book was actually finding out about that night. Because, you read about it through these other authors and they act like it was such, he had to go through all these hoops and barrels to get in a theater, and he knew everybody who worked at that theater. He got half of them hired. So of course he can walk right in.
They thought he was going to the show.
Well, not only that, but that was the theater he worked out of. That was
He worked there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Put on many productions there. Him and his brother was an actor also. And so was his father.
Did he have to clean up popcorn?
Shut up, Adam.
Did he like pizza?
Oh, my God.
Hey, so he went up to the balcony, right? And just shot him in the head?
Well, yeah, he went to go shoot him in the head. And of course, Lincoln was there with his wife, and they were there with another couple, which, was funny because it was an Army general or Army, I can't remember his rank, but, and he just blew him away right there. And then he jumped down to the stage and
How far down did he jump when he broke his leg? Did he was it like a huge jump and just panicked, or why didn't he go out the way he came?
There's different reports of that. Some people say it wasn't even 10 feet. Some people say it was 15. There's not, because nobody knows where exactly on the balcony he was when he jumped.
Right. They just saw a guy land.
And he landed and supposedly broke his leg and bolted out, the stage door. Did
you ever see the, in like 1940 something, there was a guy that was still alive that was at the Ford Theater during his assassination? There's video of him on a game show.
If it's the guy I think that you're talking about, he was proved to be wrong. He was yeah. No, I know.
He sounded like he knew what he's talking about.
Well, I mean, if you're around for a major event, like that, I mean, we were all around for, the assassination attempt on Reagan. I'm sure we could describe it as if we were there.
Right. Huh.
But yeah, so he had hooked up with John Wilkes Booth had hooked up with the Confederate spy network, and through this network, he met a Confederate soldier by the name of James William Boyd. James William Boyd and John Wilkes Booth both have the same initials, both had the same tattoo on their arm. They both looked alike. And so a lot of people surmise that it was him in the barn who got shot. Because the soldier who shot him against orders. He was supposed to be taken alive.
Huh. Why did he do that? Was he running or something?
Was he was he trying to run out of the barn?
Yeah. Why did they kill him? Why did he say he killed him?
The barn was on fire. He had nowhere to go. Right? And all this soldier was supposed to do was hold him at bay. That's all he's supposed to do. So instead of that, he shoots him in the neck. And it takes about 4 hours for Booth to die.
Or who we thought was Booth.
Or however you'd like to word it. I mean, but later on, this guy wasn't court-martialed, wasn't nothing. No action.
Did he have a broken leg?
Nobody ever knows. Nobody examined him. Nobody examined the corpse.
What did they do with the corpse?
He's buried. Well, he was buried underneath the penitentiary where they killed the other conspirators. But they dug him up and moved him. So, I mean,
do they know where his body is now?
It might be, the location might be in my book. I don't know. You might have to buy it and find out.
Is it underneath the McDonald's?
Shut up, Adam.
No.
Because if you dug him up, you could find out if his leg was broken. Is that in your book?
I cannot confirm or deny because, I want to leave some stuff for the readers,
Sure.
And it may be a Burger King and not a McDonald's, but, that's speculation. But then you get on to the man known as Phineas L. Bates. This is one of my favorite things about the book. Phineas Langdon Bates. You guys ever heard of him?
No, sir.
Well, he claimed to own the body of John Wilkes Booth. Because he said that Booth, after the whole thing went down, befriended him and he died in Colorado. And, this whole contrived story. Well, later on, the body of said person was lamented in wax. They never, and they sold. He would rent him out to the carnivals, and say, come see the body of John Wilkes Booth, right?
Right.
So that's where the identity of Phineas L. Bates becomes interesting. He is the great grandfather of actress Kathy Bates.
No kidding.
See,
Okay,
I was expecting a little bit more fanfare than that, but
Actually, I was thinking about
what did he do?
Does that have anything
the
to do with the
person
Bates Motel?
Oh yeah,
no, Mike,
Yeah.
the other Bates.
Someone
Master,
Bates.
Master.
And see, that's where Adam's specialty comes in.
I should let Adam say it. I knew he was thinking it, so I should have just let him say it.
Can't you just hear Adam? Mom, stay out of my sock drawer.
So the guy. Okay, let's assume that John Wilkes Booth survived, and it's this guy, right? What was his life like?
The guy was he was proven con man, but the whole gist of it was he lived a life of poverty and this and that, and just a bunch of rubbish. But it's still one of those kitsch things. I mean, a lot of people are like, really, that really happened? Yeah. Some guy actually got painted and waxed and was trekked around the United States in a damn circus. And they only charged like 10 cents, to see him. So
that wasn't John Wilkes Booth or the guy that you thought survived. It was just a guy.
Yeah. From what all the evidence, shows, it had, this corpse had nothing to do with Booth.
I wonder if he volunteered for that gig.
Well,
I mean,
there's a laundry
go on.
There's a laundry list of theories as to where the body came from, and all the, I mean, and they're all very colorful, but sadly none of them have any merit. But hey.
So is your book wrong? Tombstone? Where's that tombstone? And is that what at the McDonald's?
Again, I can't say whether it's a McDonald's or a Burger King.
Man.
Or Wendy's.
Okay. And that's all due to that's all due to litigation,
So did you actually give away the ending of your book?
I'm not giving away anything, man.
Yeah, you are.
I gave away nothing.
Tell us now.
42. You have to give us a little more about this.
I don't want to read the book. Just tell me the ending.
Well,
Wolfman, shut up, you bastard.
Can you at least allude to some hints of what's in it that we can get excited about?
Well, there's words. There's a couple pictures. Hey, man,
Should we move on to another book?
No.
Well, no. I was gonna say, if you guys want, part of the book, has the coup de grace, if you will, because it has everything that has to do with the similarities between Lincoln and Kennedy.
Can you talk about those?
Can I? Man, I was waiting for you to ask. I'm like,
well, please tell.
I'm like, when is he going to ask? Well, now in my JFK book, I put the same thing because everybody's like, oh, you got to do the similarities thing. Yep. So
Willie was just asking about that today. So I probably call him.
So I did that for the Kennedy book, and I did that for the Lincoln book, for the sheer fact of kitsch, pretty much. I think it's hysterical, but like I said before, I'm a twisted person.
Why do you think I got you on my show?
Because I was the only one who said yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the other reason. Oh, hang on. We got a call.
Uh-oh.
All right. Monster Castle Player Number, you are on the air.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Not bad.
I'm actually want to ask a question
I want
about
Darren.
chakras.
All right.
Hello?
Do you guys know who this is?
Who?
Rachel?
I know who it is.
Fran?
No.
No, it's Chris Nelson.
Yeah, it's Chris. It's Christina Nelson.
How'd you
Hi.
know?
Oh, I know. I recognize your voice right away.
That's cool. I'm glad.
All right. So you have a question for
Gordon.
For Gordon?
Yeah, I do. I have a question for Gordon. I want to know about chakras
Roots?
and what that entails and what you have to do to protect yourself that way with the chakras.
I have no idea about any chakras. That is not my
Does
department.
he?
Well, I did say that people could ask any question about anything, pretty much. So, I guess that's my fault.
yeah.
then.
So you better answer this.
No, Chris, he's a historian, and he specializes in ancient history and
Egyptology,
yeah.
Rome, things like
JFK.
that.
Okay. Well, he had mentioned chakras, so I thought I would ask.
Oh, who mentions chakras?
Somebody was talking just a second ago, and they mentioned that they had to protect themselves from a ghost, so they were using, I call it a gift if it's actually true and it works.
She's listening
It's
to the
chakra is the word
feed.
that was used.
Nice. Okay.
Well, I think she's listening to the 24-hour feed.
No, the 24-hour feed is what we're on right now. It's shut down.
okay.
We have taken over that, so she would be listening to what we're doing right now. I'm not putting anything else out.
I don't remember
I'm
talking about
listening
those
to
things.
something live right now. That's what I was doing.
Monster Castle Paranormal?
Yepper.
Wow. I don't remember anyone mention anything about chakras, but I can probably answer it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Can
What
you?
was your?
Okay, that sounds
Okay. Repeat
great.
your question,
Yes,
and I'll
okay.
try to answer it for you.
Okay, chakras. There's supposed to be some type of internal way of protecting yourself with prayer and spiritual something or another, and I just want to know how you learn about that. How you
This is
learn
the
within
Monster
yourself
Castle
how to
Paranormal
do
Radio
something
Show.
like that.
We explore
Okay, we're gonna go to
paranormal
commercial, and then I'll
phenomenon
finish
with
answering your
researchers
question,
and
all right,
skeptics
hon?
from all walks of
It's-
life and
it's the
beyond.
bottom of the
Fridays
hour,
and Saturdays,
and I
9
will
p.m.
get your
Pacific,
question.
midnight Eastern. Visit our website at monstercastleparanormal.com.
Poorly produced.
This box makes me happy, happy, happy. This box makes me I stay in the basement and hide. It's only fun when it rains inside. Put them in, take them out. Put them in, I take them out. Put them in, I take them out. Put them in, I take them out. This box makes me happy, happy, happy. This box makes me happy, happy, happy.
I could add on to what you say.
Oh, there you go.
Go ahead, Adam.
Nice.
Do you want to answer this one?
Sure.
All right,
So
let's
she's
go back
asking
live.
about how does she protect herself using chakra energy to create sort of like a bubble of energy around herself, is what I call it.
And then we'll get back to the similarities between Kennedy and Lincoln.
Yeah.
So sorry I bumped into the wrong show.
That's okay.
It's okay. We
No,
are thankful to get a
I
call.
like
Are you
this.
kidding?
This is great.
Thank you, Christina.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm singing your praises in their chat room.
That's great. Thank you.
Everybody missed you.
That's awesome. Thanks.
Can we hear the music?
There is no music. We're back on live.
Okay, because I'd like to know when we go back live.
I already said that.
I know, I'm joking.
Okay. So, Adam, were you going to answer this one, or do you want me to do it?
I'll do it.
Okay.
So
go ahead.
the question was, how do you use chakras to protect yourself from evil energy, or is that the question?
Yeah, any type of evil energy, or even my aura. I was told one time I have a big aura, but I feel even within 2 feet of being within someone, I can feel negative energy or whatever energy they project. But with my aura, it's too big to prevent me from being able to feel too much. So I tend not to have too much going on around me, but I feel like I gotta have something other than my aura that can be like a chakra or whatever, a protective energy over top of my aura, so I don't have to feel those things anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, I'll go here. I'm what's called a scion, and we're a type of psychic, and basically the way that we protect ourselves from negative energies, as well as empathetic projections and telepathic projections from other people, is we use shields. The terminology for psychics it would be wards, or that type of thing. But anyway, so what you do is you first ground and center, which basically means that you stand with your hands by your side, and you visualize that there are roots growing from your toes into the ground, and these roots are going all the way to the core of the planet, and then you visualize all of your your anxiety or your intention or any kind of negative feelings you're feeling, and as well as any kind of excess energy, and you visualize that going through the roots into the planet, and that'll give you kind of a that will basically make your energy system neutral, and then you visualize energy coming from, for example, the sun, and that essentially filling you up, so that you're fully energized, and for a side note with that, when you do that, you actually feel really, really good. And but anyway,
that would feel amazing. Well, I'm gonna have to try it because I feel like I've drawn so much negative energy into my life, and it's almost like maybe I'm drawing it in with my big aura. Maybe people sense that I'm weak, so they draw into me to.
Absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong, Chris. Listen to me. You're absolutely wrong. Your big aura protects you. You just have to visualize it. Say to yourself over and over, nothing can penetrate my shield, my bubble of energy around me. I am invisible to your evil forces. They can't see you. They cannot see you. Invisible. Think of yourself as invisible to the evil, that you can slide right through and you're totally invisible and you can snipe them out.
Yeah, that'd be
using your power of invisibility. And also what Adam said is perfect. Visualize the roots of your feet going right to the center of the earth, so you're totally grounded to the earth and you cannot be moved. You're solid as a rock.
Yeah,
That's right.
And to continue on with what I was saying, is that after you have grounded and centered, then you visualize an energy building up in your solar plexus area, and when you visualize it, you have to add as much vivid detail, as many senses into it, like not just a visual seeing type of a sense, but also like feeling, taste, if you can do that, the sound, like all the five senses within the visualization to make that stronger, and then you and then after you have built up that energy, you just visualize it, that energy expanding around you, and then visualize that energy protecting against the negative energies, and hold that, and there you go.
Go give that a shot and let us know how it goes.
Thanks for the call, Chris.
I'm so sorry about stepping into the wrong show, though.
No, you're in the right show. You got the right answers, so you're lucky. But we got to move on because
you have a wonderful night and enjoy.
Okay, thanks for calling. And you know what? Listen to the show, the right show. Please, I'll try to send you a link here. Before,
sounds amazing.
Okay,
we'll be on tomorrow too.
Yeah.
Okay,
call back if you want. Okay.
Hope I wasn't boring you guys.
Oh, no, not at all. That was awesome, buddy. Okay. And let's move back, though, to the subject of, because I'm sure that Gordon is feeling pretty useless right now, so.
Dude, this is the easiest gig I've ever had in my life. Like, what are you doing? I'm sitting listening to chakras, Yeah, it's awesome. What are you talking about?
Bubble of energy.
Can you get back to the similarities between the two assassinations?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so both Lincoln and Kennedy were elected to Congress in 46, right? 1846, 1946, respectively. Yeah?
Okay.
Lincoln and Kennedy were both elected president in 60. Both names have 7 letters, Lincoln and Kennedy. Both wives lost children while living in the White House. Lincoln was shot by John Wilkes Booth at Ford's Theater. Kennedy was shot by Lee Harvey Oswald in a Lincoln made by Ford. Both were shot in the head. Let's see. Let's see. What was it? Oh, yeah. Both were succeeded by Southern Democrats. Both successors were named Johnson. Andrew Johnson, who succeeded Lincoln, was born in 1808. Lyndon Johnson, who succeeded Kennedy, was born in 1908. Both assassins had three names: Lee Harvey Oswald, John Wilkes Booth. Both names of both assassins contained 15 letters each. Booth ran from the theater and was caught in a warehouse. Oswald ran from a warehouse and was caught in a theater. Let's see.
Was he caught in a theater?
Who? Oswald?
Yeah, I thought he was caught in the cafeteria or something.
No, he was sitting watching a movie theater.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
He went into a movie.
Let's see. Each assassin committed his crime where they were employed. Oswald, worked at the book repository, and Booth worked at the theater. Both assassins left the scene of the crime using transportation they did not own. Booth rented a horse while Oswald rode a bus. Let's see. Booth and Oswald were both assassinated before their trials. The doctors who attended to each president were both named Charles. Dr. Charles Leal treated Lincoln, and Dr. Charles Crenshaw treated Kennedy. Each president died in a place with the initials P.H. Lincoln died at Peterson House, and Kennedy died at Parkland Hospital. Lincoln had two sons named Robert and Edward. Edward died young, and Robert lived. Kennedy had two brothers named Robert and Edward. Robert died young, and Edward lived. Fun, weird stuff.
I wonder who put all those together.
I put that together through a handful of different sources. Some of it was Wikipedia, some of it was, but a lot of them, I found that a lot of them, like there's one that said that Kennedy had a secretary named Lincoln, and Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy, and that was just not true at all.
Oh, you checked up on it.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah. Everything I put in my books, I check at least 3 times.
Nice.
Because I don't want to be the one there holding the bag when somebody goes, "You're wrong." I mean, because, well, you get, no, it's not, it's, you see, the whole thing with Kennedy and the whole thing with Lincoln is, you get a lot of people who are naysayers, because it's associated with the word conspiracy. So they automatically think you wear a tinfoil hat, the whole nine. So I find it's I wrote about it in my book, Conspiracy Evolution. What is a credible conspiracy? A credible conspiracy is something that you can put your hands on, something that's tangible. Whereas, like look at it this way. I don't write about UFOs. I don't write about Bigfoot, nothing like that. Because to me, that is not a credible conspiracy. See, I can write about JFK because there's tons and tons and tons of paperwork. There's people's names attached to it. There's, a trail. Yeah?
Yeah, you can do research too and find out these people and find out about them.
Whereas with UFOs and Bigfoot, there's like a 5-minute clip here and a 2-minute clip there, and nobody comes forward. No one attaches their names to it. So you can't research any of it. You can't. There's no follow up. There's no follow through.
Wait a minute. What about the Patterson Gimlin film? There's all kinds of names and stuff attached to it. There's some of it is, some of it isn't. Where do you get your facts from for your research? What are your resources?
It depends on what I'm writing.
That's what I was going to ask about. When it comes to JFK, do you do a lot of research from mostly books, or what do you think of like YouTube videos and how important those are to getting to the truth?
There's, I will say there's some really good documentaries, but it's funny because a lot of documentaries they'll get right up to it, they'll get like all the facts, and then they'll start talking about rubbish, and that's when they found out Castro, and it's like, Castro said, God knows how many times, that, he didn't want to kill Kennedy. He said he respected Kennedy. And in Castro's life, and this is documented, he said he respected two people. And Jack Kennedy was one of them. He publicly said, I respect, Jack Kennedy. It was amazing. So,
who was the other one?
God.
Oh, okay.
So it's a matter of, if, he said if we were to go, we as in Cuba, he said if we were to go to war with the U.S., we would lose. We would be defeated. We would be demolished. Why would I want to go to war with the U.S.? And you got to admit, he's kind of got a point.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Whoa, wait a minute. Canada never lost a war with the U.S.?
No.
Well, yeah, because you guys are too busy playing hockey. So we automatically won.
No. We won.
I'm giving you shit, Mike. Calm down.
We used our
Calm
hockey
down, Mike.
sticks on your asses, and that was it. You slapped
go
a couple
puck
times,
yourself.
showed you a puck, said, you want to play with us? Get out of here. No, I'm just kidding.
Go puck
Have
yourself.
you talked to any witnesses firsthand?
For
For
which
the
book?
JFK?
For the most of the people who have, involved in it have passed. So speaking to a direct witness, because if they were in their 30s and the 60s, so that would make them in their mid 80s. So
yeah.
I mean, so.
And you didn't really get. When did you start doing research on JFK?
Oh God. The JFK book I started to write, it took me maybe about 3-4 months to get because I didn't write about the assassination. I mean, I wrote about the people involved in it.
What I guess we might as well ask you what that book title is and a little about it.
It's called Web of Pawns, and it's pretty much just about because you had all these people saying, "Oh, it was the mafia. Oh, it was this. Oh, it was that," and it pretty much. I mean, it doesn't solve anything. I mean, I don't want anyone to think that oh, I know who did it or whatever. It basically has to do with the fact that these are the people who were involved that you never heard about. And I had a lot of people write me going, "Who are these people? I don't know any of these people." But it's like, well, that's why I wrote the fucking book, you tart. I mean, nobody knows who Clay Shaw is. I wrote about Clay Shaw, and everybody's like, "Who's Clay Shaw?" Like,
who is Clay Shaw?
Well, I'd love to tell you. But,
oh no, not again!
But
we have to read the book.
For $2, you can find out. Well, no, I mean, things like, proving...
If you do not tell us the ending of the books, I will electrocute you.
Finding out that Jack Ruby knew Lee Harvey Oswald. Finding out that Lee Harvey Oswald had connections to other people within this small group in New Orleans, of all places. So, I mean, it's all a matter of these are the people that you don't hear them talking about.
But who killed Tippit?
Oh, God, this old chestnut. Well, J.D. Tippit. Oh, God. Again, in my book, I talk about J.D. Tippit. So for $2, you can find out exactly. But no, back to what I was saying about Clay Shaw. He was a diplomat. So he, I try to explain him to people in the way that, in Lethal Weapon 2, you remember the guy who had diplomatic immunity? Kind of like that. And he was in charge of a very small ring of people. So, but again, these aren't the people that you hear about when, you see like the big time movie.
Okay,
or
wait a minute. Did you guys hear it ring? A ring. When you said ring, I heard a bell ring. Did you guys hear that? Or was it just here? That was weird, man. I'm not kidding. When
I
you
think it
said the
was
word
just you.
ring, I actually heard a bell ring loud in this room.
Maybe it was in your ear.
Huh. If you guys didn't
We'll
hear it,
re-listen and find out.
that is weird, man.
What about George Bush Sr.? Was he involved?
George H.W. Bush.
Yes.
Actually, funny enough, he kind of was. Him and Dick Cheney worked for the CIA at the time, and they were all just starting out. But the only extent that it really goes is they worked at the field office. Nothing salacious, but
I was watching some documentary and they were talking about all the oil that they had out in the Gulf, in the Bay of Pigs and stuff, and how they were involved in it. It was interesting.
Oh yeah, well that was the whole thing about Bay of Pigs, is it had to do with the convoys. So it was everybody tried to make a mountain out of molehill when it came to that. There's been several different speculations as to why he was shot. Johnson, he owned stock in this company that made the Dragonfly helicopters for Vietnam. And,
that
Kennedy,
seems like a conflict of interest.
Well, but at the time there was, and this is in almost every book that I write, I reiterate, people lose perspective of time. And back then there was no regulation for that kind of thing. There was no laws that said there was a conflict of interest.
Yeah. Imagine if Trump put a bunch of money into some stock and then gave some government contract to that company. I mean,
oh yeah.
It'd be
nowadays not only would he be breaking United States law, but he'd be breaking international law. You know what I mean? So back then, Johnson had stock in this company. They made the Firefly or the Dragonfly helicopters. And for those of you who don't know what a Dragonfly helicopter is, Google the show MASH. And in the opening sequence for MASH, they show about 4 or 5 different Dragonfly helicopters. His big thing was investing in arms. That's what he did. And so, there's a lot of speculation as to the why and the how and the, but I don't placate to that. I'm not,
we have a question from the chat room.
Okay.
Who got Oswald the job at the school book depository? Do you know?
I give up. Who?
I don't know. That was the question. I don't have the answer. But Debbie will here in a second. She's the one that asked it. She is big into the JFK since she lives in Dallas.
Oh. Do what?
I don't know. She'll be texting. Sorry. I just wanted to ask that. I didn't know if you knew. How derail us here?
Oh no! I'm just I was trying to remember what the hell I was saying. That's all.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have stopped you.
Oh, no worries. It
was about the helicopters.
But it's a matter of everyone has different speculation, and there's no way to prove it one way or another. So it's just in my book, that's pretty much what I do. Is I just put out the theories of, okay, here's this theory and here's that theory. And,
right.
as with most of my books, it's draw your own conclusion. Don't take what I say as the gospel. I don't want you to. I want you to actually research what I wrote. Look it up.
Right. Have you come to a conclusion, or are you pretty much kind of like your book? You kind of have, it could be many different things.
I think Johnson had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
I think, 30 minutes before the parade, he just changes cars. He was supposed to be in the car with Kennedy when Kennedy was shot.
Huh.
But 30 minutes before the parade, him and his wife switched cars.
Interesting.
there's just a cornucopia of just things that are way too coincidental.
Mm-hmm.
And they all come back to Johnson. So that's my conclusion, but I don't enforce it in the book. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't want my readers to be, I want you to draw your own conclusion. I mean, because there's a chance I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, then I'm more than man enough to admit it. But
yeah,
you gotta prove me wrong first.
Who's Springler? Springler? What's that?
Do what?
Debbie from the chat room says something about Springler.
Probably the person that hired him. I don't know. She knows more.
If you make a donation, every dollar will be put into a 50-50 draw. You could be our next winner. Follow us on Spreaker.com or get the mobile app, the Spreaker podcast app, and follow Monster Castle Paranormal and Dirty Mountain Taro. Wolfman Mike 47 on Spreaker and Skype for calls, and in Twitter as well. And join us in the hashtag 47Talk for live interaction in Twitter. Alright, yeah. Make a call to the station at Wolfman Mike 47 on Skype, 775-990-8447 in the United States, and 226-271-3466 in Canada. Thank you, and shut up, Melvin Spacely. Trying to do a commercial here. Alright, yeah. Fantastic. You have nowhere else to vent your torment. Shine a laser across the sea. It's quite clear when you're in the atmosphere. Aliens appear. There's a
Well, to finish my story, Darren, that's when I told her, I'm like, well, who else's panties would they be? Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're back live now.
Oh, we're live. Oh, my bad. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that.
You wrote a book about the Jonestown Massacre.
I did. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah. No, I'm
What's
kidding.
the-
It's called
this
the
is
book.
what I wanna know
It's called the Book of Jones. The Book of Jones.
I've heard of that one.
The book
And,
or the massacre? Oh, what's your top selling book
for this year, last year,
ever?
It's a toss up between the Book of Jones and Web of Pawns.
Cool.
So can you tell me the ending to both of those books, please?
The ending of Book of Jones was they made a movie out of it, and the ending to Web of Pawns is they made a movie out of it. And none of them were filmed in Canada. Okay.
Oh, well, that doesn't mean I wasn't in the films.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? You know, ask not what your country is about. Okay, sorry. No, but this year, the wrong Tombstone is just like flying off. You know, it's just amazing. But
that's your newest one, right? The first one we talked about.
The wrong Tombstone, yeah. And then this month I'm going to be coming out. Well, it's a tough call because I might have to have surgery in the middle of the month, so I don't know what my schedule is going to be like. But I have a few more books on the burners, and they'll be coming out soon.
You're okay,
I know it's
aren't you?
Personal, but do you mind if I ask what's wrong? Why do you have to have surgery?
Well, I have a lot of my friends know, and I know Mike knows. I have grand mal epilepsy.
Oh no!
And throughout the years, with seizures, you screw your body up a lot.
Shit.
I've broken both my hands twice. Broken my arm. I've dislocated both shoulders 3 times.
Adam, heal him now.
I've cracked my left hip. I've had 26 staples in the back of my head. I've had 20 staples on my face. I've cut my eyeball open.
How about your tongue?
Jesus, that's why you look like the Joker from Batman.
I've actually bitten part of my tongue off. The bottom part of on the bottom left of my tongue, it's missing. But trust me, my wife does not complain about that.
I knew nothing about what a grand mal seizure looked like until like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. My dog started having them.
Yeah.
And then I looked online for dogs, and then I looked online for people that had horrible. And I couldn't believe how I've never seen one before that, and I can't imagine what that'd be like for you or your wife.
Well, there's several different forms of epilepsy. There's petit mal, there's grand mal. Prince, you guys remember Prince? He had epilepsy.
Oh.
And a lot of people, some people on Facebook know this. Epilepsy awareness, the color's purple because of Prince. So, but there's a lot of celebrities involved in charities. Greg Gumberg, do you guys remember him from the show Heroes? He was the cop. He was the cop on the show Heroes. His daughter has epilepsy, so he created a charity called talkaboutit.org, which is outstanding charity. And within that charity is Hugh Laurie, a.k.a. Dr. House. Harrison Ford is a member, as his daughter China has epilepsy. They do live. They're the first charity to ever do a webathon, which is a telethon, but over the web. But, epilepsy is a very, it screws you up a whole lot more than...
How often do you get a seizure now?
Well, I have 2 forms of epilepsy. I have grand mal epilepsy, and then I have something called full partial epilepsy or full frontal lobe epilepsy. And I have those seizures daily.
But they're smaller.
Yeah, they're smaller, and they're how can I put this? I'll forget where I am, or I'll forget who I am, or I'll become very quiet, or I'll, there's a vast cornucopia of reaction.
Right.
And
how many seconds do they last, the small ones?
The small ones, the shortest was less than 2 seconds, and the longest one was 9.5 hours.
9.5 hours?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. And this isn't something contrary to some debunkers might say. You can go ahead to the Epilepsy Foundation and look up these different forms of epilepsy, because they're as bad a shape as I am. There's people in worse shape. There's a guy in Florida who because see, epilepsy triggers your nervous system. So it's all about reflex and reaction. Well, guess what one of your reflexes is? Sneezing. So instead of having a seizure, he sneezes for an hour.
I've seen that happen before with people. One person at my hotel.
There's a woman in New York who every time she has a seizure, she has an orgasm. And the first time I heard about that, I'm like, well, lucky her, right?
No, not so much, probably.
Yeah, 82 orgasms in one day.
Yeah.
How can you be functional at all?
Oh, just look at me.
Yeah. But you see, in order to have an orgasm, Mike, you have to be able to get it up first.
Hey, how do you know I am? What? No, actually, that's not true. That's absolutely false.
You sound like you're speaking from experience there, Mike.
I know scientifically
that
is not true.
Yeah, okay. We believe you, man. It's cool.
Do you want me to find you some scientific proof of it?
You're just mad because I outsmarted you on that one. I beat you to the punch. You're cheesed off.
That's it. You're getting it.
Igor's gonna get his condom on.
Mr. Gordon Rupe, you are wrong.
Did he call me Gordito?
Have to have erection to have orgasm. Just wait till you get older, you will find out. Just watch what I do to Wolfman right now. Hey, what are you doing, eh? What the fuck? Why are you doing this to me? What the fuck? Oh. Hey, that was... Oh, wow. Holy shit.
But anyways, to answer your question, the whole surgery thing is because of my right shoulder. I have bone spurs.
Oh, okay.
And so all these spikes are coming out of my bone, and they're tearing apart my tendon.
Yeah, that's not good.
And so they've been trying to treat me with cortisone, and that hasn't been working. So they're thinking they're going to have to go in there and actually scrape the bone.
Yeah.
And so if that's the case, then I'm just going to be out of commission for a couple more weeks.
We have at our hotel, we take in people that a couple times that had seizures every 5 minutes, like little kids.
Yeah.
There was nothing they could do, and they ended up doing like a split brain surgery or taking half the brain out.
Yeah. They'll do full frontal lobotomy in a heartbeat. They have another procedure where they attach an electrode to your brain, and it looks like it looks like a pack of cigarettes. It's like maybe it's about as thin as like a business card, and they cut your skull open. And they put this film over your brain, and this film is connected to a wire, and that wire pops out of your head and connects to a battery that you have to carry around with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, fuck that. I'll live. Thank you.
Yeah. Could you imagine they can actually recover and function fairly normally after having half of their brain taken out, if it's done at an early age.
Oh yeah, and in some cases it'll actually grow back. You can look up where cases. There was one in France where part of this kid's brain grew back. It was amazing.
That was a brainy kid.
Shut up, Adam.
You're asking for trouble.
But yeah, so that's what the surgery is all
Want
about.
Igor to come back?
You guys, I have to take a break for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's take over, Wolfman.
No problem. Okay. Let's go on to. I'd like to talk about the actual Jones massacre there. Why did those people kill themselves? Why did they follow that guy?
Well, why do people follow Jesus Christ? I mean, they find a character that's charismatic and in their eyes loving or charitable or however you'd like to word it, and they stick with them. I mean, I equate it to the whole thing with, everybody's known that girl and then who like has the boyfriend that beats the crap out of her, but she always goes, "Oh, but he loves me." That's what it is. It's I equate it to battered wife syndrome or battered woman syndrome or whatever they call it nowadays.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So they just they get used to the abuse.
Yeah.
And they just think that's normal, or they just don't know how to get out of it.
A combination of that. It's that they don't know it's not normal. You know what I mean? Because
brainwashed. They must have brainwashed them somehow with some sort of other techniques.
You can brainwash somebody with love, so it's not really, I mean, he convinced them that no one would ever care about them more than he does.
Killing their children.
What's that?
You can't tell me that you can brainwash people into sweet talking them into killing their children.
Yeah, that's what they did. Man. That's exactly what and you got to keep in mind though, with a lot of the child murders that happened in Jonestown, they were performed by soldiers. They weren't performed by the members of the church. Because see, here's the idea: if I kill your child, right? What do you have to live for? Nothing. So if I want you to commit suicide and you don't want to commit suicide, I kill your child. Now you have nothing to live for, so you're going to commit suicide, right? It's as simple as that.
Interesting.
And that's what he did with almost all of the children in Jonestown. He had the troops kill them, and once the parents saw that they were dead, they were, that was it. They were like, well, I've got nothing to live for, so adios.
I know he was sleeping with a lot of the women in the group. That's what I heard anyway from the movie. Was that movie made after your book?
Which movie? There's been like 4 movies made about it. Mine was written last year.
Wow.
Okay. And as far as this book goes, I did talk to one of the survivors of Jonestown, but I was not allowed to directly quote him. So I just said, according to a member, and I'm not going to say who it is, but I talked to him over the phone. And he was, very quiet and very nice guy, and I wish him the best. But a lot of it was just, this guy was just hell bent for leather. He wanted his way, and he got his way. And once his way started to crumble, then he had, that was it. He killed everybody. I mean, the only good thing I can say about Jim Jones is the fact that he practiced what he preached as far as he had this concept called the rainbow family. That every family should have one biological child, and then if they want more, then adopt the rest. Right? And that's exactly, there's only one survivor. Whatever Debbie is smoking, please send some of that to Colorado. I can make a mint on that. Anyway.
Oh, wait a minute.
But, what?
So there was no survivors?
There was tons of survivors. I don't know where this one survivor came from.
Okay, so not everyone.
Good Lord.
Okay, I don't really know. So what? How many people survived the whole thing? Some of them didn't die from all the purple Kool-Aid or whatever they drank there?
Some of them weren't even there.
Okay. But the people that were there, did some of them like just get sick and really badly sick and survive it? Or
I think out of the camp at Jonestown, I think 4 survived.
Okay.
But one of them was in a coma for the rest of their lives, so I don't know if you'd consider that surviving. You know what I mean? But 3 of them were sentient afterwards, but they had severe internal injuries due to the arsenic. But yeah, some members of the church weren't even there.
And
so
where were they then?
There was what's that?
Where were they?
One of them had to go back home, back to the States because his wife was having surgery. One of them was sent on an errand to go into the main city, and he had taken 3 other people with him. So in a Jeep, there was roughly about 4 or 5 people going to get supplies, that kind of thing. But there was, there was more than one survivor. Wow. But no, I mean, back to the whole rainbow family thing. That's what he did. He had one biological child and he adopted the rest. So,
and okay, so that means you believe in the world not growing in population, it just stays the same.
Well, no, because he's like, there was enough, there was enough children out there to be adopted, so why not adopt them?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Just because of orphan children.
Yeah. And, at that time in the United States, it was fairly cheap to adopt a child. I mean, right now, to adopt a child, I think, it's in the ballpark of 30 or 40 grand. So, I mean, and back then, it wasn't even, it was maybe 5,000 to 8,000. So it wasn't, as expensive as it is now.
What kind of person was he? Did he take good care of those children, or was he abusive to them in any way, even maybe sexually abusive to those children that he adopted?
From all accounts, from all the interviews and things that I read with his children, there was no sexual abuse. There was standard parental crap. Nothing, but then again, I will say this because I talked about this on another show. Nowadays people's idea of abuse is completely different than it was then. So, it's all perspective as far as that's concerned. I mean, if I say, I think spanking your child is abuse, and you say, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So, but, it was, standard, spankings, that kind of discipline,
Wow, this brings me into a topic that is pretty sensitive to me. I'm wondering if I should go into this or not. A good friend of mine, whose son is very attached to me. He calls me Uncle Mike. And he came over today and told me that his father spanked him really, really hard, and it hurt for peeing his bed. And he's only 4.5. And I'm wondering what I should do about this. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, if you think that, you know, it's endangering this child's life, then, you know,
well,
if you don't take action, then that'd be the worst part.
I think it might screw him up in the head, is what I think.
Well, yeah, but regardless, he's going to be screwed up in the head.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's what's happened right now, you know, so him getting taken away by, you know, foster care or whatever, you know, what do you think is going to fuck him up more? Being in that situation for the rest of his life or taking him out of that situation?
Well, I know that he has a better situation he could be in.
Right.
Whereas the other parent isn't like that, and I don't understand why she doesn't have the custody of the child. I don't know. But nobody believes either one of them.
I mean...
You know,
well, I mean, it's a matter of
people always fighting, and
you know they have to prove it. You know, you can't just throw out allegations without, you know, proof.
Yeah, that's where I just don't know where to go with this one, because, and I know it's off topic, but it's bugging me in my head about this, because a child can't testify in Canada until they're 12 years old. So how can you prove any of that unless they tell it to an adult, and then is that admissible in court that the child told me that? Am I allowed to take that and do something with it? Adam, do you know?
I wish I knew, no.
I'm going to look into this. Anyways, I just wondered if anyone here knew anything about that. Anyone in the chat? Anyone? I would like some advice on that. But I'm definitely going to do something about it. It's terrible.
Well,
not
I mean,
only that,
you know,
that's just one of the things.
If you're moved enough to do something about it, then do something about it. I mean, you know.
Well, he looks up to me like I'm his uncle, and he asked me to do something about it. So, and he told me a lot more than that. That's just a little bit of it. So, yeah.
I'm back. What'd I miss? Did you talk about Jonestown?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, and then it led into a really different sort of subject. But
it's become quite contrived due to the chat room.
I was still wondering more about Jonestown. What was the poison they used? Was it cyanide?
It was.
Okay.
It was. They mixed it with grape-flavored Kool-Aid.
That's what I thought. It was purple Kool-Aid.
November 18th, 1977?
Oh, he's on Wikipedia, folks. Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
I'm not on Wikipedia. Kurt told me that.
Do what?
Curtis told me that.
Oh, Kurt. Okay, I thought you said Turtle. I'm like, who's Turtle?
No, Curtis. Kurt Green.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Actually, I believe I spoke to Kurt Green about this before. So yeah. So now, what were the questions about Jonestown?
Well, I don't know what I missed. I don't know what Wolfman asked you. I don't know anything about it really.
Well, it's time for a break here.
We'll talk during the break.
And we'll be right back.
Trolls are
we'll
us.
recuperate.
Do you
and
have
come
an
back
internet
with
troll problem?
Actual
We can
on-topic
help.
discussion.
Just search for trollsrus.com.
Here's
We will
Sandra.
send all kinds of trolls to the party that is trolling you. Just listen to our best customer.
When I was getting trolled hard by a group of trolls, And I said to myself, there's got to be some truth to what these guys are saying. It's got to be. And so it was at that time I started really replaying and listening to myself in the car, wherever I was. And I thought, I'm a pompous bitch.
Go to Trolls R Us today and take care of your problems in our snarky fashion. That's trollsrus.com.
Yeehaw! Trolls R Us!
To avoid the nauseation, frustration, desolation, mutilation, degradation. We like to rock, and this is a donation station. Yeah, baby. Go to monstercastleparanormal.com and donate today. Keep us rocking, man.
You've seen ghosts. You talk about them. Aliens. You talk about them. Are you kidding me, Wolfman? You literally had ghosts calling on a ghost box. But you're going to lose a lot of credibility. Lake Monster gobble you up in one fucking bite. I'm calling you out, my friend. You are scared of the girl from Texas. Well, I sure wouldn't be sitting there admiring the rippling, glistening fucking muscles of the fucking marsupial. He was hairier than a Sasquatch. Oh my goodness. Who in the world are you? Hollering like that. Angry as blood. Do your neighbors hear you? You must live in the forest for you to yell that loud.
The Monster Castle. Paranormal Radio.
Witnesses have described it as not quite right.
Right. The Wolfpack.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
I'm only over here because I heard your sweet fucking voice on the phone.
Yeah. Wow. It's getting heated in here, man. It's really hot in here. Are you getting hot over there? I want to go down to Egypt. Anybody want to go to Egypt with me?
I do.
Let's see what's going on.
I do. Me. I want to. I'm so hungry I could eat 12 wieners.
We were talking about that today.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the sound. I just checked my TuneIn radio feed, which is the best way to listen to the show, is to go to TuneIn Radio and just search for Monster Castle Paranormal, and that is the best audio feed for this show because you'll also get the 24-hour archives that go all day long in between our shows. And it always works. Spreaker sometimes does screw up here and there. So I just usually, if I'm listening to anyone's show, if I can get it on TuneIn or something else, I listen there, and then I go to the chat room in Spreaker, but I don't listen to it off Spreaker. So I don't know, but mine's working. If anyone else is having trouble with their sound, let me know. I was wondering about the Sphinx. Do you know anything about what's underneath the Sphinx?
Well, there's been, I don't know, in the past, I'd say 3 years, there's been huge debate because there's obvious talk about there being another tomb. There's a few doorways. You know, a lot of people don't know this. You know, you can go to, for example, you can go to Google Earth, and if you look at the Sphinx, there's a door on the back of it. And the first one of you jerks who makes a backdoor comment, I swear to God. Anyway.
That was Adam. He's waiting.
Yeah, no, I could hear Adam biting his lip, just waiting, just, you know. But it's
always
like,
been there?
Well, it's always been there. There's one that's on the inside arm of the Sphinx. You know, so there is
Did they open them?
Well, I was about to say there was a documentary about 6, maybe 7 years ago called Exploring the Sphinx. And this is back when Hawassi was the, he was in charge. He was the director of antiquities in Egypt. So these guys, you know, they're like, okay, we want to open the door. We want to dinner. And he gives them full approval, right? They come back the next morning and it's bolted shut. And then Hawassi quit taking their calls. And nobody knows why. And recently there's been a handful of people who want to explore it. And they want to find out about the Sphinx. You know, but, you know, it's a matter of, will it damage anything? If there's valuable things in there, will it damage something? So they want to go through with, which makes sense to me. They want to go through with ultrasound and sonar, and they want to map it out that way before they go into it.
I always thought there was a Stargate in there.
Well, what's that one seer that said there's the Hall of Records under its front paws or whatever?
Well, there was rumor. Okay, this goes back, and this goes back to the relationship Egypt had with Rome, because there was rumor that the Romans pillaged Egypt, right? And they took all of their records back to the Great Roman Library. Okay. Now, with Great Roman Library, according to some history books, the whole thing burned down. According to other history books, the whole thing burned down, but all the records weren't there. So it depends on what you believe. There is no real way to prove either way. So they could have survived. They might have survived. Some, and there's no telling. Don't take it. Please don't take it. Don't take it.
Don't take what? What are you talking about?
All right. I would like to talk about the Great Pyramid.
All right.
And the shafts that go up to that door with the copper handles.
You said shaft.
And yes, I'm biting my lip.
There's two shafts, I think. Aren't there two shafts?
I think the Great Pyramid supposedly has one going up to the top, one going to the middle, and then there's one that goes just below the middle. I don't know how factual that is. So,
backdoor.
You haven't actually been over there.
No, I've never been. No.
Okay.
No, I've never been. All of my research with Egypt and Rome was strictly books.
Yeah.
So
do you have any theories on what you think they might be built for and when?
Well, this is my problem. Is the minute that somebody comes up with a theory, a palpable theory, 5 seconds later somebody makes another discovery and it blows that theory out of the water. So when it comes to Egypt and Rome, and with Rome, there's more records because they're next to us now. They're like one of the most well record keeping civilizations ever.
Really? Have you done a lot of study on the Roman records?
With Roman records, I'm not going to lie, that was my minor. That was not my, my major was just ancient history as a blanket.
Mm-hmm.
With Rome, it was a matter of, it was interesting, but what really captured my imagination was Egypt and, blah, blah, blah. So.
Yeah. What's your favorite most exciting thing that you're interested when it comes to ancient history right now in the world?
Well, one of the things that one of my peers was talking about a couple months ago was the fact that with Rome, for example, they had a lot of orgies, but yet the pregnancy rate and the STD rate was like next to nothing. How is that? How is that even possible?
Well, they must have had some form of birth control we don't know about.
And that's what these theories are leading to, is they must have had some sort of contraception that we don't know about.
Maybe it was doing it in the baths.
Well,
maybe there's something in the water.
Well, there's that. There's the Catholic school method, which is just pulling out. That's what I don't like, is I don't like to come up with a theory because tomorrow someone's going to find something and that theory is going to be totally blown out of the water.
Yeah, but you could come up with several theories like you do and just put them out there, which is interesting. What do they think it is?
Who do they think what is?
Scholars or people that study this. What are the theories?
About the Sphinx or the Great Pyramid?
About the birth rate of the bats.
I'm like, what are we talking about? I'm like, I haven't had that much caffeine today. Please give me a break.
No, okay. Maybe you had one of those little seizures. Has that ever happened when you're doing something public like this?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So you'll just get kind of quiet and then...
It happened about 30 minutes ago.
When you were on?
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. Did we notice?
Nope. There's been 2 people in my life who can notice, and that was my mother and my wife. Other than that, nobody can notice. Nobody, it just,
What if you're in the middle of talking, though? You just kind of slow down and stop, and then is it just like a few seconds, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, what am I doing here? Or...
No, I think about what I'm going to say ahead of time. So I'll think, okay, I'm going to say this for the next 5 seconds, and then, boom.
You can feel it coming on.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
I can cause them too. I can. Yeah, I certainly can. It's most epileptics, when they have the full frontal epilepsy, is what I call it because it just I'm sorry, I just love the name full frontal. That's like me. I have diabetes insipidus. Here
horrible.
Here is in the chat room. I'm posting. There's an article about the laughing epilepsy. It's called ictal laughter, which instead of having a seizure, you laugh.
Oh, no kidding! Just out of nowhere, like at a funeral or whatever.
Yeah,
I could get you in some trouble.
And so it's. I mean, a lot of people doubt it, but it's a real. And funny enough, point of fact, Mike, there's more cases of laughing epilepsy in Canada than there is in America.
Oh, that's Adam's and my fault. I'm sorry.
I wonder why.
That's something we put in the purple Kool-Aid.
Any theories on that?
Yeah, it's something we put in the purple Kool-Aid. I can't tell you exactly. Something we came up with. But yeah.
That's crazy.
None of the doctors know why either. They have no idea.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it probably has to do something with food. I would say probably petroleum, plastic bottles, or some shit like that has to do with petroleum. I blame everything on petroleum.
It could be
I'm probably right too.
Do you have more petroleum than we have here?
I don't know. I think so. I mean, it could be,
that theory.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It could be the doctors, something they're giving us here that they don't give you there. I don't know. It could be anything. It sounds to me like something that it's an unnatural source, I think.
Yeah, I don't. Well, there's if you go to the National Epilepsy Foundation of America, they've got tons of research papers on this shit, and it's so fascinating to read because it reminds you of I mean, I hate to sound all schmaltzy, but it reminds you how fragile the human brain actually is.
What exactly happens? Too much electricity going through, or what causes it? Do they know?
Well, for different kinds of seizures, it's different causes. Like some epileptics get what's called an aura. Yeah?
Yeah.
And that's a telltale sign that they're going to have a seizure. Like, for example, in Texas, there was this little girl, and every time before she had a grand mal seizure, she'd smell strawberries. So whenever she smelled strawberries, she'd lay on the ground. So that way, she wouldn't be, Well,
and dogs, a lot of epileptics have dogs that can sense it coming on.
Have you ever had a coma, Gordon?
Actually, I was in a coma for 4 days.
Oh, wow. Hey, whenever I used to have this when I was a kid, I would get this ringing in my ears. And I would lay down because I knew I was going to pass out. I don't know what that is.
Well, with ringing in the ears, they've associated a lot of that to panic attacks. Low blood sugar. Like a lot of diabetics will hear ringing in the ears. They have really low blood sugar. And that's like their body's way of telling them, hey, have a cola or whatever. So, I mean, it's very fascinating to read just the small nuances, you know.
Yeah. And, what was the other thing I was going to ask you about? Damn, I forget. I lost the train of thought. It had to do with that. Oh, yeah, we were talking about it before, how you mentioned the aura. And we were talking about this off the air, how people that can see auras. Actually, it wasn't you. I was talking with somebody else today about this. That they can actually see problems in the human body way sooner and more accurately than doctors can.
Well, there's, right now, and it's being fought by the FDA here in the States, but there's a special ink that can sense changes in blood pressure, right? And so they transformed it into tattoo ink. So that way, for epileptics, for diabetics, if your blood pressure changes extremely, then the color of the ink changes.
Whoa!
And you can
cool.
you can Google that. You can Google that. I came across it on Facebook, but it's a pretty interesting story. Of course, the Humane Society's having a cow about it because they want to test it out on pigs, because pigs have, similar skin texture to ours.
Oh yeah, well they're the people that Adam and I have changed from human into animal because they're idiots. Yeah, right, Adam?
Oh yeah.
And you people eat them.
Bacon. I like bacon. Anyway, but yeah, so I mean, they're it's kind of funny because you hear about, we can make strides in this technology, and we can't because we're getting stifled. This could help tons of epileptics, tons of people with diabetes, tons of people with heart conditions, and it's being stifled by the FDA. So
yeah,
I mean, they have.
I know some of these people that have diseases with their. I can't remember what it was. It's something that had to do with. I don't know if it was diabetes. It was some kind of disease that triggers people to see auras. But you can actually see auras using, isn't it called Kirlian photography, where you actually create an electronic field around the area where you take the photograph, and it shows the aura in a photograph form. So there's a scientific way of actually getting a picture of people's auras, and why don't they use this to diagnose problems with people? I always wonder why somebody doesn't figure that one out.
Well, you have look, okay, when I started researching epilepsy, I found something that completely floored me. Was, you guys know what narcolepsy is? Yes.
No, that's when you fall asleep.
Okay. Yeah, when you fall asleep suddenly out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That is not related to epilepsy at all.
Really?
It's not even in the same part of the brain.
I didn't know that. I would think that it would be just like the opposite or something. What is it?
With I haven't done too much research in narcolepsy, so I can't really speak on it. But I thought those things were somehow related. but they're not even, because epilepsy is mainly in the center of your brain. And narcolepsy is in the back portion toward the hindbrain.
Well, which is where? In your ass?
Do what? No. Do what? What'd you want to do to my ass, Mike?
He bonked himself.
See?
No, that was Igor.
Well, that's what he gets. That's what he gets for talking about my ass. I mean, I told him I didn't think about it that way.
They've learned a lot in the last 10 years about the brain.
But you see, that's my... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, they've mapped it out, what everything does, and been able to figure it out. Computers have helped.
Well, and that's, my whole point being, the human brain is just so fragile, and, you don't really, and like I said, I'm not trying to get all schmaltzy about it, but, when you stop and really think about it, just the smallest nuance, in the brain can change you completely.
Well, can kill you.
Man, how did we get from talking about the Sphinx?
My mom just had a pop in her, one of the blood vessels in her brain, a small one, and it took her life. Yeah, it took her life. It was a very small one. But, her brain filled up with blood, and the blood, it just kills the brain.
I think one of my favorite epilepsy stories, gentlemen, is comes out of Britain. A gentleman had a grand mal seizure, and he went from being right-handed to left-handed.
No.
And no, wait, it gets so much weirder. And you can Google this. This happened about 2 years ago, maybe 3.
Oh, this is fascinating.
And he went from being right-handed to left-handed and speaking English to Spanish. Right?
He must have known Spanish before or something?
Well, no, here's the punchline. He didn't.
Oh, man. That reminds me of a story that I saw on William Shatner's Weird or What, where the guy gets hit by lightning and then he learns, and then all of a sudden he knows how to play piano and he's writing symphonies, and the guy was like a construction worker or something before that. Never had a piano lesson in his life, and then all of a sudden he's famous pianist. Boom, just like that.
Did they prove that, Gordon? That seems so unlikely.
Well, that's why I want to get William fucking Shatner on our show, and everybody better tweet him and tell him that he has to come on Monster Castle.
Richard Hoagland knows him. He's had him on his talk show back in the 60s.
Well, I'll ask Richard to get him on here.
Well, as far as I know, the whole thing with the language, I didn't, I don't know if they were able to prove or disprove it one way or another. But he did go from being right-handed to left-handed. And he lost all of his motion in his right hand. And so what the doctor surmised was, he went from being able to write, and he lost the ability in his right hand. So it just automatically shifted to his left hand. His brain compensated. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
have they ever looked at a brain to see the difference between a left-handed and right-handed person? I wonder.
I'm sure you could find MRIs and stuff online. I mean, I'm quite sure they've done that. I haven't looked into it or anything, so I couldn't tell you, but I'm sure they have.
Well, I'm sure he was probably better at doing certain things with both hands than after that, eh? Anyways, how did we get from talking about the Sphinx into this? I want to get back to Egypt.
Start talking about the pyramids, and we start talking about Rome, and then we start talking about baths, and then we start talking about hell.
I had a question. There was questions in the chat
magic.
room. Yeah.
Well, okay. Wait. Hold on.
Tie it all together.
As far as Egypt goes, Egypt, when you died and they went through the burial ritual, they threw away your brain because they thought it was useless.
Oh,
and in Rome, they thought epileptics were seers. But shortly after that, they said because of the the whole religion aspect, it became that epileptics were possessed.
Oh, nice.
So they went from being soothsayers to demons. I don't know how that happened, but
how were they treated once they were thought to be demons in Middle Ages and stuff?
Well, epileptics used to be burned at the stake.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
Well, actually, it's kind of an interesting story. One that could be considered semi-offensive, but I don't really care. The word faggot for the slang term. If you look up the word faggot in the dictionary, it means something to kindle a fire. And so that's why they called gay people faggots, for the sheer fact of they burned them at the stake. Well, what a lot of people don't know is for a long time, epileptics were called faggots.
So that's why they call
because
a cigarette a faggot.
Yeah,
no, it's a fag.
A fag, yeah.
Because it's on fire.
Yeah, it's already...
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So anybody that was... I bet a witch would be too, maybe.
No, they never called witches that, funny enough.
That's not funny that they burned witches. I don't find that funny. Except for when you weigh them.
I do.
Uh-oh. Damn it. Time for a break. When we come back, we'll have something completely more ridiculous. Maybe better. This is getting good now. I like it.
The sun will rise and flowers appear. A distant light from beyond the skies, it shines in her eyes. Jasmine flower of white and misty blue, your dreams will come true. She has bubbles and rings and magic things, butterfly wings.
What the hell's going on here? Okay, so if I was to say that, these people that on YouTube they got a thing of Akhenaten, a profile, and then they put Obama's face over top of it, and it looks really similar. Like, what do you think of that? Do you think he was cloned? Are you there?
Where did he go?
No idea.
Wonder if we're on the
Gordon?
air.
Don't know.
Dun dun.
What happened to you guys?
Wolfman's on the air with
We're all
somebody.
talking, I don't hear nothing.
Yeah, JFK's Eric. Yeah.
What the hell?
No idea.
Wonder if we're on the air. We are on the air. Where did he go?
I am not. Oh, okay. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. We couldn't hear each other, could we? Could you guys hear me?
No.
Nope.
Okay. I'll ask it again. Akhenaten's face and Obama's face on the YouTube thing. Have you seen that?
No.
No, eh? Well, it actually really looks very similar, and they're suggesting that maybe they cloned the mummy of Akhenaten, and that is Obama.
Right.
What do you think of that?
I'm getting feedback.
Feedback?
Yeah.
I'm hearing stuff here too, yeah.
Check. I'm not getting feedback.
Okay. It should
Keep
go
talking.
away.
Sometimes it goes away.
Should go
Okay.
away.
No, I don't think they cloned him at all. I think that's one for the tinfoil hat crowd.
Oh man, I'm drunk.
You don't think that Obama was a clone of a ancient Akhenaten? Is that what it was?
Oh, yeah, Akhenaten. No, actually, it is actually possible scientifically.
Sure.
Because the DNA is intact in those mummies. And they already mentioned way back, I think it was, Jesus, it was early in
Akhenaten, I barely knew her.
It's possible that they could clone one of the mummies from Egypt because the DNA is still intact in the tissues.
And do you know how long it would take to make a clone?
Yeah. When the time when you don't know when they had the cloning capabilities. The military always has capability to do that way before the public is let known about it.
And I don't doubt that.
I think
That's
it's actually
hot.
possible. But I don't know. I don't know. It's just weird. But it is kind of creepy that he looks a lot like Akhenaten. It is creepy.
So, wait, you said you wanted to talk about Moses, so this ought to be rich.
Okay. Also, yeah. Tutmosis, yeah. Isn't it Tutmosis?
Tutmosis?
I think it's
common.
No, it's a different one. Jeez, I think that might have it wrong, but it's one of the pharaohs has actually in his name. One of the pharaohs has Moses in the last part of his name.
Well, I think you lost your train.
Yeah.
It derailed.
You got to get that train sound going.
I have to.
I don't know
have to
anything
go over that
about
again.
that.
I used to know this
Murder on the
story
Wolfman
really good.
Express.
Tutmosis, I think Tutmosis.
Do you know anything about the Ark of the Covenant?
Well, what do you want to know? I know some things. I don't know.
I don't know. I need to know where it is.
Is it trapped in Area 51?
Oh my God. Well, you know what got me was the description that they had in the movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, because it was a little off. Because in the Bible they describe it just as kind of like a plain box, but Raiders of the Lost Ark, it has like these golden angels and I'm like, okay, Whatever.
And they showed the
know.
book like that was in the Bible or something, but that's not the way it was. I take it.
Well, I mean, like the description of like the size, but that's pretty much where it ends.
Okay.
Because it was just like a plain box, like a coffin. But you know what? Speaking of Raiders Lost Ark, guys, I have my own podcast now. Did I tell you this?
Yeah, I mentioned it at the start of the show.
I'm so glad you asked. It's called Neighborhood Nerd Watch.
Oh, wow.
And we're going into our 5th episode. So far, we've got the Star Wars episode and the Star Trek episode, and it's me and my buddy Orion sitting around getting nerdy with it, But yeah, no, we just talked about Indiana Jones because they're talking about maybe doing a reboot of the whole series with like somebody. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. That'd be any good. You can't beat that first movie. Or the second one.
No, the second. I don't know. I like the first one. I like the third one.
The third one.
Yeah, Last Crusade.
Oh yeah. That's the one with the chalice at the end. Was the wooden one?
Yeah, we're Junior. Yeah,
that was a good one.
Indiana was the dog. But yeah, we just got done talking about that. So,
Have you seen those new Star Trek fan movies?
I haven't seen any of the fan movies. I've seen. I don't know about you guys, but I saw the trailer for the thing called Discovery, and God, that looks like a dumpster fire.
Tutmosis.
Oh, is it a new series or something, or a new movie?
It's going to be on CBS. It's a new series, and it happens 10 years after the original series.
Well, Gordon, you got to listen to Vic Mignogna. I forget how you pronounce his name. It's Mignogna or something like that. And he's made 5 of these things, and it's just like once you start watching it, you feel like you're watching the original Star Trek. They're that good.
Well, if you can, send me a link.
Okay, I will now.
Okay, yeah, I remember now. It's Tutmosis. And that is where Moses comes from. It derives from the name Tutmosis. And Pharaoh's daughter who adopted Moses was Hatshepsut. 1526 BC Pharaoh.
Yeah, the story goes that
Moses
she
was
found him in a creek bed or a river bed.
And
He
why
was floating in it.
And why does Moses not appear anywhere in the Bible after Exodus? Why doesn't it? They don't even mention him again.
That's because he never existed.
Well, wait a minute. He was a pharaoh.
Okay, if you say so, man.
Yeah, he was a pharaoh.
There's over 3,000 religions with almost the exact same story. So, okay. I'm still waiting on proof that Jesus existed. Nobody can give me that.
Well, I've heard stories that he was an Egyptian, the son of one of the Egyptian pharaohs as well.
Oh man, there's so many, wow. Okay. No, it's just with religion, it's just so contrived and so full of crap that,
Anyways, it has to do with the Sphinx. Because they say Tutmosis is the face of the Sphinx. And the hidden hall of records is underneath of it.
Oh, okay.
That's what made me think of that. What you were talking about.
Well, with
Moses and
sorry.
Hatshepsut.
Hatshepsut?
Hatshepsut. Yeah.
Well, another theory about the face of the Sphinx is it's supposed to be one of the Egyptian gods because it's supposed to be half bird, half lion, and I forgot it's like part bird, part lion, and part goat or something like that.
Chimera.
Definitely
and
that's lion.
Originally a lion, I think, and his face was actually changed afterwards and recarved.
Hello?
Debbie,
Mike?
you're on the air.
Yeah, I'm calling first time, long time. I was listening to the show. I'm out here on the road, and I wanted to answer your question about why Moses was not mentioned after the Exodus.
Okay.
Well, Pharaoh ordered his name stricken from all the records whenever he came and said, that whenever he found out what happened, he said, I want his name stricken from the records and from everything. He wiped him completely off the face of the earth, every record of him.
Okay, that makes sense.
So what do I win? I'm excited. What do I win?
Okay. A tarot reading.
Oh, boy. All right, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Okay, Adam,
Can I get it
you're
now?
Adam, you're up.
Okay.
You want to give her one?
No, I want you to give me one. I want you to give me one, Mike.
my cards in.
Oh, she wants me.
I don't like Darren's mean. I mean, not Darren.
That means she likes me, everybody. It's okay.
Shut up, no. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Adam's too mean to me.
Oh, Adam's mean to Adam.
All right,
Yes, he
I've got,
cyberbullies me.
Some cards here.
I'll get one. Hold on a second.
Butterfly wings. I can't get that song out of my head now.
Oh, that's the
Wolfman.
song
Thank
I
you
wrote
so
for my
much.
daughter.
I know, it's pretty.
Okay.
Misty blue, patches of you. Anyway,
you
it's just, it gets in my head. I hate it. And I don't hate it. I hate that it gets in my head.
I like that one too.
Okay.
I like the song you wrote for Sandra.
Is there? Yeah, that one. I'm
Gave me
gonna
chills.
get that. Yeah, it's called "Hello," and yeah, you guys are gonna love that one when I get that finished. I'm gonna get that finished quite soon.
Oh man, it was so good, Wolfman. I was driving to work. I had goosebumps all up and down my arms, tearing up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even remember doing it.
I just sent
You
Willie
did
a
a
picture
you did a
of it.
really good job.
Okay, is there any kind of question that you have in mind for your reading?
Yay. I want to know, I don't know. No, just general
Okay.
reading, I guess, whatever.
All right. Well,
She wants me to do it, Adam. I got this.
No, I said Wolfman.
I got it.
Okay.
All right.
She wants the Wolfman.
Okay.
You guys can both do. Can you both do one?
I'm gonna.
Can you do the
give
present?
you an instant suggestion reading. Don't promise. This is the Wheel of Fortune card I pulled up, and it's telling me don't promise more than you could comply with.
I don't make promises.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, that's good. Then maybe, instead of doing that, then it's better to just wish luck to everybody around you and right now at this point, and give good vibes and wish good luck to everyone around you.
I don't believe in luck. I believe in faith and living right. It's the best revenge.
Okay.
But I understand what you're saying. I'm sorry.
Okay, well then, good health or
I
something
think
like
she
that.
said that was a bonk on the first one.
All right.
Me?
Was that the past? Was
Why?
that the
What did I
past?
do to deserve a bonk?
No, I get the bonk because I was wrong. You don't even you
All
don't
right,
promise
Buttercup.
things, and you don't believe in luck, so I suck.
I beg your pardon. I make my own luck.
That was the
Right.
worst reading I ever did.
I never
That's it.
thought
I'm getting bonked for this.
Reshuffle those things, man. Don't you supposed to do past and then the present and future? That's where you're good.
Hey, I want
but
everything
we don't
money
have
can
time
buy
for
right
all that
now.
right
This is
now.
my
We can do
reading.
that later. I'll give you a better reading
okay.
later, okay?
All right. All right. I'll
Because
call back on
we gotta
camera.
keep we gotta keep going with
The tarot. Get you in a better call too. Get her on Skype.
Yeah, maybe ask a question, ancient history question for Gordon right now. I'll give you a good reading later. Because I don't even have my right cards out right now.
Gordon.
I didn't do it.
When Moses was drawn from the river, why did Nefertari name him Moses?
I don't know. I don't believe Moses existed.
Okay, well, the reason why is because she said osmosis is to draw from the water. She said, because I drew you from the river, I will name you Moses.
Right on.
Anyway.
So does Moses in Egyptian...
Y'all brought up Moses. I didn't. I'm just trying to...
Don't ask a question you know the answer to. Ask him something you don't know.
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah. Something you don't know.
I was answering. I called in to tell y'all why Moses was not mentioned in the Bible after the book of Exodus. After the Exodus, actually.
Interesting.
Butterfly wings. That's all I wanted. I'll hang up now. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry I called.
Thanks for the call, Deb.
good.
That was awesome. And you answered my question, so thank you.
I did? Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
was wondering
Bye,
about
guys.
that, and you answered it.
Thanks.
That was good. Awesome. Although my reading sucked, but I couldn't find my good cards. I had my broken deck.
I wanted to hear Adam's reading on her.
We'll do that later.
That reminds me, I've got to schedule my rectal exam. Anyway.
No. All right. Well, when is it now? Igor's coming.
Coming? I didn't even hear him breathing hard.
Did you mention a rectal exam? I know how to do this. Hold still. Are you ready? Bend over.
Oh my God, it's awful.
That reminds me of college, actually, but you know.
You wrote a book about Hail Bob?
I sure did. Yeah. It was one of the worst experiences of my life, actually.
Writing the book?
The whole process, the research, because they made hours and hours and hours and hours of fucking videos. So I sat through about 73 hours worth of their videos, which anyone can find on YouTube, by the way, Debbie. You can go to YouTube and you can find it. And they're called the session tapes. And it's a breakdown of, what their philosophy is, what their religion is, blah, 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 blah. And it changes every time. Their religion has no cohesion. Much like most religions, it makes shit up as it goes along, And the man was just so deliciously insane. And you could look at him and just tell he's, crazy.
Who?
His name is Marshall Applewhite. He and it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like a contrived story because he was, this is back in the 70s. He was a closeted homosexual. He was a music teacher. And he became friends with this woman who, became known as, they always had these cute little nicknames. It was, one was Doe and it was just, anyways. It was very contrived and very, how shall I put it, complex. And what ended up happening was she ended up dying of cancer. Well, the problem is her dying of cancer at the time that she died, they already had all these people recruited into their religion. And according to them, in their religion, neither one of them could die.
Oops.
And here she goes. And here she goes dying. So he disbanded this religion for a while. And then
no kidding.
yeah. This just in from the no shit department, right? So he abandoned it for a while, and then came back to it with a completely revised edition.
Of course.
And so the theory is the only way to get to heaven was to ascend from this mortal plane, and the only way to do that was, it was just, oh my God. Actually, one of his disciples was the niece of Uhura from Star Trek.
Yeah, how many people died when that comic came in? Wasn't it like 7? They're all wearing Nikes or something. That was an Art Bell thing, wasn't it?
No, that was when that happened. Art Bell did a whole big thing on it. Yeah, it was a matter of they all wore Nikes. They all wore black. They were pretty much all dressed like Steve Jobs, pretty much. Black turtleneck, black slacks. They all had a purple blanket or drape, or how a lot of people regard it as a death shroud covering them up. And when you're watching,
Art had a guy on that said he saw a UFO next to the comet, and they were all listening to Art Bell, and then they all latched onto that. Correct?
If I recall correctly, that guy was a regular caller.
He's a regular guest,
and he claimed a lot of things.
Yes,
so
he did.
If it's the same guy I'm thinking of, so I don't want to throw stones if I don't, but yeah, through the session tapes, you could see how deliciously insane they all were. I mean, they all had Star Trek emblems. They all wore Star Trek emblems.
The mothership was coming to pick them up when they killed themselves. They're supposed to. Is that right?
One of the direct quotes, and I put it in the book. One of the direct quotes from one of the disciples was, "We're ready to beam up."
Yep. Oh my God, that was just awful.
And I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm very frank about most things. But after watching all those session tapes, I didn't get a good night's sleep for at least 4 months.
Why? Just because you couldn't believe people? Did he convince you, or was it like a? What did it feel like?
Just hearing him talk was just, I mean, have you ever seen the movie Clockwork Orange?
Yes.
When Malcolm McDowell is sitting in the theater and they have his eyes pried open with those metal things?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
And
because
they had to put drops in his
I had to
eyes.
finish what I started. I started writing this book, and I was going to finish writing this book. So I did.
They had to put drops in his eyes to stop his eyes from turning into raisins.
But it was a matter of I've updated, I mean, with a lot of my books, I'll go back and I'll update them with new information. And I haven't looked at Hale Bop since I wrote it.
Well,
that's no lie.
It's so scary looking. I mean, to listen to that many hours of him talking, I can imagine. Can you understand why the people were so convinced after listening to him? I mean,
no, that's my thing. Is it was like listening to I went to Catholic school and with my degree in ancient history, I had to study a lot of religious text and it's pretty much all the same. Like I said, there's over 3,000 religions and they almost have the same identical story. Born of a virgin, and there was 3 wise men and whatever.
Yeah, how many Jesus stories are there? There's not 3,000, are there?
Well, no, it's not just Jesus. It's Krishna, it's Vishnu, it's Muhammad. They all have at least 3 out of 5 same things in common. Born of a virgin, 3 wise men, 3 kings.
It's midnight. But don't go to sleep now. It's time for Monster Castle Paranormal Radio.
Do you remember that train of thought there, Gordon?
Yep.
I can't hear you over the music.
Can you remember that train of thought there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Explore the mysterious
All right,
nature
we'll be right
of our
back.
world. Igor, release the monsters from the dungeon. Crack some drinks and let go. Unwind, open your mind. Just know.
Psychics, mediums, ghosts, fireballs, lunar anomalies, Sasquatch, UFOs.
It's Monster Castle Paranormal Radio. 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 With Willie in Alaska. Our moral compass, Curtis Green. With Eric the Protector. And hugs from Apocalypse. The Angry Bog. And keeping it real with Stabby McHugs. Crack some drinks and let go. Unwind, open your mind, but just know.
Remote viewing, rabbit toys, glowing orbs, lost treasures, Martian artifacts, the chupacabra, Debbie, Daily.
It's Monster Castle Paranormal Radio. It's Monster Castle Paranormal Radio. It's Monster Castle Paranormal Radio. It's Monster Castle, Monster Castle Paranormal Radio Show.
Yeah. Cushion eject. Does your cassette mechanism make a terrible sound like this when you open it? Well, we got something better for you. We got cushion eject today. We could get some funny sounds like that when it pops out. It will be slow and smooth. Cushion eject is the best in ejection mechanisms for any tape cassette. And we can install cushion eject today. Use called KTEL. More cushion for the pushing, baby. Yeah. More cushions for the pushing with cushion eject. All right.
What are you and who are you doing? What are you? Who are you, my dear?
Yeah. And who are you doing? How are you doing? I mean, how are you doing, sir?
I'm Batman.
That was a good one.
You like that? You like that? I try. You know.
I was just watching Lego Batman before the show.
Oh man, I love that movie. That's my favorite movie ever.
Lego Batman is awesome. He's my hero.
What's the password? Iron Man sucks.
I haven't seen it.
Sorry, spoiler. Sorry. No, Iron Man Batman is just it's just such an awesome film. I laughed, I cried, I ran a gambit of emotion.
So you remember where we were?
We were talking about the similarities between Christianity and all the other religions.
Yeah, and I'd like to know the similarity between cults and all religions.
Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. You have the head figure, who is the one who is assembling everyone, getting everybody on the same page. Whether it's a preacher in a church or someone like Jim Jones or Marshall Applewhite or whatever, they're all doing the same thing. Well, and as well, no, and as goofy as you think that sounds, it's not far from the truth. If you look at it this way, you have talk shows like Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, blah blah blah
Debbie
blah.
Daly.
And you said it, I didn't. For the record, anyway, and all they do is pump misinformation. Now, regardless of whether they're proven true or false, okay, these people will listen to them devoutly and believe everything they say regardless. Like, look at okay, I got a prime example for you. If you look at Trump supporters, tried and true Trump supporters, they are still supporting Trump 1 billion%. Trump said he would get rid of ISIS in 30 days. We're 132 days into it, ish. And ISIS is still around.
He said that?
Yeah, he did. That was one of his campaign promises.
I will get rid of ISIS in 30 days?
Annihilate was the word he used.
Huh. I don't remember that one.
And so ISIS is still around, right?
Of course.
I mean,
think they always will be.
And, well, because they're just another form of religion. It's the same thing,
No,
religion.
No, wait a minute.
Oh, go ahead.
What kind of religion that's Islamic uses English words to represent their religion? It's fake.
All religion's fake, man. Where you been?
Well, no, like, what does ISIS stand for? Islamic supremacist something. I can't even remember, but it's actually an English term.
Okay, so the white skinhead Aryan nation uses Latin. What's your point?
Just to me, like, it's fake.
I mean, Aryan nation is fake, but they kill people all the same.
The whole thing sounds fake. ISIS and
oh, you don't even think it's a religion. You think it's
I think
like
it's a
our government or something.
Fabrication from I don't know which government, but it's not from Islam.
Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, okay. Well,
he thinks it's put there so we could go into Syria.
Well, you see, and then that begets a conundrum, because as fake as it is, now it is real.
Oh, it's real, but it's not from Islam.
No. Oh, I'm not saying
nothing to do with Islam.
Whether it's from Islam or whether it's from Bullwinkle, I don't give a shit.
It's not from
the fact of the
Bullwinkle.
matter is they're still killing people.
Bullwinkle wouldn't do that.
No, I agree. Boris, maybe.
No.
What about Gumby?
I don't know.
Did you say Gumby or Gandhi?
Gumby.
Oh, okay. But it's a matter of, you have this charismatic leader who could tell you that,
promises good things.
Yeah. I mean, promise you the world, not deliver it one bit, but you still come back to them. I mean, like I said, it's like the battered woman syndrome. A guy beats the crap out of a woman, and why do you go back to him? Because he loves me. It's the same premise.
It's because she's invested in him.
Oh, it's not only that, but she feels that he's vested in her. And so it's a matter of you have these leaders who convince you that nobody is going to love you the way I love you. No one will ever accept you the way that I've accepted you. And so you create what's called an artificial alienation. They're alienating themselves from their friends, their family, society, and you convince them that they're doing it on their own fruition, and they're not. You're making them do it.
Uh-huh.
That's why it's artificial. If it were just regular... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask about Amway. Do you know anything about Amway?
I don't know anything about
Amway.
Amway.
Oh, my God. I worked at a hotel. We had Amway every summer, and they'd have these family reunions, and there would be the one diamond that was in charge of his whole flock of people. It's a pyramid. It's a pyramid scheme, basically, but it's legal. If you work hard, I guess you can make money at it, but oh, my God. I mean, they just worship these rich diamonds, and they would go to these meetings over and over and over. It's just like going to church. Not to offend any Amway people out there, but I had firsthand all of the diamond family reunion people at my hotel. it sure does remind me of that. What?
Well,
what's your favorite religion if you had to pick one?
Favorite in what sense?
Okay.
Like
you had to be in a
favorite
religion. You had to pick one. Which one would you choose?
Buddhism.
Buddhism. Nice.
Because they're very, they're very oriented in the way of the world, and it's a very, you reap what you sow kind of a basis. Whereas with Christianity, if your woman is, the debunkers can look this up. If your wife is, having her time of the month and she goes to sleep in bed with you, you can kill her.
What?
I'm not kidding. Look it up.
That's the literal.
That's the actual wording of it is, quite contrived. But it pretty much says that, she's bleeding. So, I mean, it doesn't, you don't have to have a high school diploma to figure out what time of the month your wife bleeds at, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How about Satanism?
Yeah.
What about it?
Well, if you don't believe in any religions or anything, wouldn't you like Satanism the best? Because you can do whatever you want.
Well, you can't do anything you want with Satanism because, I mean, I know.
You can drink baby blood and stay young forever.
Man, you've been watching way too many movies. Let's see. Oh, wait, here it is. Leviticus 15:19. Whenever a woman has her menstrual period, she will be ceremonial unclean for 7 days. Anyone who touches her during that time will be unclean. What are you doing? What sound effect is that?
Somebody was getting punched. I don't know. It's somewhere back in the castle here. I don't know what's going on back there.
So,
but it goes on for a few of the lines. I mean, you can find it. Just Google Leviticus 15:19, and you'll find it.
Leviticus has a lot of interesting things.
Oh, is this in the Bible, or are you talking the Quran?
It's in the Bible.
I'm talking the Bible.
Oh my God! And then they're saying that the Quran is so much worse than the Bible. Well, it doesn't sound like it. It sounds about the same.
If you took it literally, yeah. All depends on which ones you take.
Well, I mean, that's part. You've heard of the King James Version, right?
Of course.
Of the Bible. You know why they call it King James Version?
Because King James had it made, didn't he?
Why did he have it made?
I don't know.
Because all the Bibles were in Latin. and King James couldn't speak Latin.
Oh yeah.
So he had them. So he had them all translated. And it's just amazing to think that a king can have that much power. Let's see.
Remember, Art Bell used to have the Caboris manuscripts, which were like direct translations, and sometimes like entire page would be like one passage just to explain it. I always wanted to read that and see what it said.
Here you go. The first book of Timothy, 2:12. I do not permit a woman to teach or to have any authority over a man. She must be silent.
Oh my.
Oh boy.
But remember, the Quran, the Quran's evil, but the Bible, it's like, oh, really? I mean, come on.
Oh, no. I love religious people that always use parts of the Bible, to make their point, but then they, if you're really educated, like you could come back on them, with something else from the Bible too. They'd just be the opposite.
Well, I mean, you have what is it, the 9th commandment, where it says a woman must submit to her husband.
Okay. Well, what about this one? This is
Uh-oh.
a reading from the book of Armaments, chapter 4, verses 16 to 20.
Then he did raise on high the holy hand grenade of Antioch, saying, Bless this, O Lord. With it thou may blow thine enemies to tiny bits in thy mercy. And the people did rejoice and feast upon the lambs and toads and tree sloths and fruit bats and orangutans and breakfast cereals. Now did the Lord say, First thou pullest thy holy pin, then thou must count to 3. 3 shall be the number of counting, and the number of counting shall be 3. 4 shall not count, neither shall thou count 2, excepting thou shall proceedeth to 3. 5 is right out. Once the number 3, being the number of counting, be reached, thou lobbest thy holy hand grenade in the direction of thine fair, who, being naughty in my sight, shall snuff it.
Am I losing my mind, or did he say anchovies? I heard the word anchovies.
Antioch.
Oh, wait. What about Deuteronomy when it talks about rape? You know this one? If a man is caught, well, this is Deuteronomy 22:28. If a man is caught raping, if a man is caught in the act of raping, a young woman who is not engaged, he must pay her 50 pieces of silver to her father. Then he must marry the young woman because he violated her, and he will never be allowed to divorce her. Nice. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
You gotta marry your rapist.
You have to marry the rapist.
Yeah.
So if you want a certain girl, just rape her, and then you'll be able to marry her.
Yeah, right?
Cost you 50 gold pieces.
That's kind of
fucked
up.
Silver.
Not
pieces.
Even oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's even cheaper. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Oh wait, here's one for Wolfman, because this has to do with Moses. Mark 12:19. Moses wrote unto us, if a man's brother die and leave his wife behind him, and leave no children, that his brother should take his wife and raise up seed unto his brother.
Oh,
so
if your brother dies, you have to marry your sister-in-law.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
That's special.
Wolfman.
It sounds more like he wanted to put seed inside of his brother.
That holy hand grenade. Did you read that, or do you have it memorized? Monty Python is so awesome.
No, some of it I have on my desktop from a paper that I've written before, and some of it I have memorized.
Okay.
Because I've written about several different things. It's just a matter of whether I publish them or not. Because in some things I've published under pseudonyms, and and then I just decided I really didn't care if they knew my real name or not.
Yeah.
I'm like, screw it,
Well, they find you anyways. They figured
yeah,
out.
I mean,
Someone really wanted to track you down.
Yeah,
Kinda the same
it's
way.
like so screw it, whatever. I love this obvious statement from the chat room. He's reading the old law. Yeah, like there's like the Bible from 2 days ago, the updated law.
Well, probably the New Testament, I would imagine, or the Gospel.
New Testament, Well, no, that's what gets me about Christianity. They're like, okay, never mind this entire part of the Bible. Never mind it. It never happened. But it talks about slaves and killing people. Yeah, just don't. It's okay. Just don't. No, it's good.
I'm glad that we don't take those all those rules literally in the Christian religion.
Well, they used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. They used to be taken quite literally.
What a nice world that'd be. Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. Did they do all that after Christ was born, or I don't know.
You could trade your daughter for a cow, and yeah, all that happy crap.
Yeah, if she's not behaving, you can sell her or something. I forget.
No. If she was a virgin, you could sell her for at least 1 or 2 cows, depending on whether she was.
Think about that. That might be worth it. I don't think I can have cows in my backyard, though.
Well, you think about it. That's probably steaks for like at least 6 months, man.
I have a 16-year-old.
Well, I've got a couple cows. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Joke.
You can't get that many
whatever.
steaks out of a 16-year-old woman.
But religion as a whole is dangerous.
But
period,
then again,
point blank.
too, who's going to cook the steaks?
Willie.
Oh.
Willie will.
Okay.
He'll be down there in the pool boy. I'll get him to come up and cut him up and cook them for me.
All righty.
Cook him with flamethrowers.
He knows how to rotisserie penguins, but I'm not sure.
Now, if you're talking about if you're talking about messing with the pool boy, you're talking about Catholicism. So
these are kind of inside jokes. I don't know if you listened to our show ever or not.
I sometimes, yeah. Yes, this is live, Daddy. This is live. This is not Memorex. But no, I mean, so I just, in my opinion, there's not any good out of any religion because, it teaches you, I posted this thing earlier about, because there's a group, they try to pray away epilepsy and then they end up dying of seizures, because, medicine and stuff, and it's, religion has a tendency to brainwash you. And I don't care what religion you're talking about.
Well, of course, that's what it was designed for. To control
and
the
once
masses.
you give up your independence, you no longer have any reason to be independent.
To think for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You are now a sheep. Or as they're called now. Yeah, I was going to say, as they're called nowadays, sheeple. Yeah.
Sheeple.
And, so I don't, I mean, the minute I find out someone's, they go to church every Sunday and, they just, thank Jesus. I say, well, you're an idiot. And I don't take them seriously anymore.
You don't say it to their face, though, do you?
Actually, yes, I do. So, well, I mean, my thing is, God is great and God is wonderful. George Carlin used to say, how come if it's a chicken, it's an omelet, but if it's one of us, it's an abortion? And, I mean, I tend to agree with almost every observation George Carlin had about religion. You pray to Jesus, great. He used to say he prayed to Joe Pesci and he got the same results.
I love that one. I was watching him today. He was talking about environmentalists worried about the planet. You ever seen that one?
Yeah, the planet's fine. The people are fucked. And then he goes into, what if the planet just created us just to get plastic?
I wanted plastic.
Yeah, the planet wanted plastic but didn't know how to make it, so they created us to make plastic. And now that they have the planet has plastic, it's killing us off.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, wow.
It's like the
And
planet
here we
will be
go
fine.
back to
1
petroleum.
million years from now, we don't even know that we were here.
Exactly. You know, and you know, I don't like, you know, and this is something our daddy just brought up, you know, science deniers.
Fulfillment
You know-
of the law. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have come to abolish them. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them.
That sounds like a tagline for a porn.
It
I've
does,
come
doesn't
to
it?
fulfill you.
Yes.
You know,
I kind of like
fulfillment
religious people
of
because
the
at least they have right and wrong. You know, they don't just do stuff because they can get away with it. You know, it seems like so many people. I watched something the other day where there's a blind guy that was asking. It was just a social experiment. He was asking for change for his 20 to get, or maybe it was 10, and he had a 50, and people were just giving him the change so they could steal from him. And it was like 50% of the people were stealing from him. I mean,
Yeah.
and I don't know, a lot of atheists can be, you know, just as moral as anybody else, but it just seems like when I go to Utah a lot, and I'm not Mormon, but I sure like being there because everybody's so moral, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm with Eddie Izzard. I'm not an atheist. I'm a non-theist.
Yeah.
Because even atheism now has become its own religion. And
Yeah.
I'm just a non-theist. I'm sorry. I don't think that there's an invisible man who lives in the sky who sees everything that I do every moment of the day and then sees everything that you guys do every moment of the day and so on and so on and such. I don't buy
Same
it. What's that, Adam?
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Heathens.
And oh yeah, you know what? Somebody goes, you know, I've been told, oh, you're going to hell. Okay.
It's like,
And-
how do you catch a unique rabbit? Unique up on him. And how do you catch a tame rabbit?
I'll tell you guys, and
Same way.
I'm sure your listeners will appreciate this because they've got the same sick sense of humor I do. If you really, really, really want to piss off a preacher, make a bet with him. And this is the bet you make. Now, Darren, I'm going to bet you that I'm going to ask you a question about the Ark, and you're not going to be able to answer it right.
Okay.
How many animals of each did Moses take on the Ark?
2.
You sure?
One male and one female.
You're positive?
I have no idea. I don't even believe in the Ark. But go ahead. 2.
Well, 2? Well, you're wrong. Would you like to know how you're wrong?
Yes.
Moses didn't take any animals on the Ark. Noah
Moses, yes, Noah.
Oh, good one, man.
I have a shirt that says, if I don't sin, Jesus died for nothing.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, but-
I got it. Wow, I like that. I
It's
like
the,
that a lot. Well,
do they
no, what
call
I was
that
going to say is,
thing,
you know, when people tell you go to hell, you go, you know, if I don't believe in heaven, what makes you think I believe in hell?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
The Ark is still circulating around, orbiting around the Earth. It's the Black Knight satellite, and it has the DNA of everything on the planet.
The cushion
That's
you
the
get.
Ark,
I would love to beat your ass right now, Wolfman. The fuck?
right?
You make me all sad.
We got 5 minutes left, boys.
Back when I was a kid, man, I was
We got 5 minutes?
I got
Yeah.
a damn
Then why is it mute?
box. One of them big
Pardon
things
me?
that two speakers on the side.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said the Ark is
And then
the Black Knight satellite, and it's orbiting around the Earth with the DNA and seeds of everything on Earth.
My eject to take the shot out. Theirs came out slowly.
What do you think of that one?
And it had other things to adjust the treble, the bass,
Theoretically.
the left to right.
I don't know. You ever heard of the Black Knight satellite?
Oh yeah. Almost wrote a book on it.
It could possibly have all the DNA and seeds from everything on Earth, and that could be the Ark of Noah.
Oh, would that be something?
Because he was an alien.
And these jackasses over here messing with a cushion eject.
I mean, look how old he lived, but also he was a drunk.
Fuck you guys. That's what you're doing.
What the hell are we listening to?
Willie yelling at Wolfman.
I don't know. I'll take it out. That's Willie.
He's the one that was going to cook the steaks for me.
I just don't feel right if Willie doesn't yell at me by the end of the show, so I put it in there. Yeah.
What is it? Is it over? The show's over?
Well, we got 5 minutes left, so when you hear Willie ranting you know it's near the end.
So we're not. Okay. What he's wondering is if we're live still.
Yeah, we're still live. We got 3 minutes
yeah.
now.
That's what I just did. I'm like,
so you got to thank everyone and plug your books and thank you, sir, for coming out. And it was awesome, man.
Yeah.
No, I told you before. I'm not on enough. I mean, I fucking love being on the show because I'm not. Well, you see, the thing is, I don't have to do that. So let's see, GordonRupe.com. You can find all of my books there. Currently, our podcast is on YouTube. It is called Neighborhood Nerd Watch. And we are on Twitter at Neighbor Nerdy. We're Facebook.com/Neighbor Nerdy. For me personally, for my Twitter, I'm at Gordon Rupe. And on Facebook.com/The Author Gordon Rupe. And posted my info in the chat room in case anybody cares.
Beautiful.
All right.
But that's it. Yeah, it was pretty great. All commentary aside, so to speak.
Yeah, we got to do this again. You're a great guest, man. I really enjoyed having you on, man.
It was awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, I still have to explain to you what I meant by Garth's older brother, don't I?
Yeah.
What, you guys don't remember Garth from Wayne and Garth?
Of course.
Yeah, I said Adam was Garth's older brother.
And when you hear that, that's really the end coming. We got one. So, listen to us on Spreaker.com or TuneIn Radio app. Just search for Monster Castle Paranormal. Call in the show anytime. 775-990-8447. Music by Shylock and Relic. Adam Shadow and the Monster Rock Band. All material on the show cannot be distributed or sold without written permission from Igor. Visit our website and follow us. Follow the links. Make a donation. Keep our donation station going. Support us. And remember, Sandra, my girl. Everyone have a little spot in your heart for her. Good night, everyone. For those of you that didn't know, my woman did pass away last Monday. My soulmate. So I'm hurting.